But the thing that's kind of classic showbiz, I'm a star of pictures and of the Anna on the radio, is Men in Black, 1997, is a huge movie hit, and then he basically reinvents his music career as a solo artist, leaving behind DJ Jazzy Jeff, and sings the Men in Black song, which is itself a huge hit. So it's like suddenly, okay, we have a template for you. You're the biggest movie star and also the biggest music star, and it's all going to be vertically integrated together.
Right. There's not a Ninja Turtle set that can go with this movie, but there is a CD.
Exactly.
You get to have the...
Exactly.
Right.
So Men in Black is 1997. Barry Sonnenfeld directs it. Yes, Lacey.
I was just thinking... Maybe there's a better, more organic time to insert this comment. Say your piece. I'm sorry about that. I'm really going to control myself.
Yeah, Barry Sonnenfeld, director of Addams Family, Addams Family Values,
I love all
Get Shorty, and Men in Black. He
Wow.
reteams with Barry Sonnenfeld, and he's like, yeah, we did a great job. You paired me with a veteran character actor, white guy. Let's do it again. Let's mix the genres. We'll do an action movie, but also it's a buddy comedy, but also there's some sci-fi. I'll sing a song. It'll be great.
What movie is that?
Wild Wild West.
Where's the sci-fi? You mean the steampunk?
The steampunk. This is a sci-fi.
Okay, but you
tons of
neglected
sci-fi.
to say what you were talking about. You didn't. I just don't feel like you really thread the needle from Men in Black to. You were trying to make. They're trying to make the sister film to Men in Black, just set in the West. Okay.
Are you unfamiliar with the concept of like saying things and then saying more things? Because that's what I was doing. But before I could say my thing, you're like, well, why aren't you mentioning the thing?
I don't like when you mock my voice.
I know you don't. That's why I did it.
I think you did it because you can't control yourself.
And that's
Your hostile rage.
probably right. But as I've learned in therapy, we bring our own baggage when we listen, and in bringing baggage, we're not actually listening.
Right. We're listening for
However,
things to confirm our
This is
own
recorded, so I'll then listen back and be like, God, I'm an asshole.
Do you ever do that? Because I usually listen and I think, oh, I suck.
Of course, I think that all the time. I think, God, Lacey sucks.
Oh, that makes
No,
sense.
I think I'm a piece of shit all the time. What am I doing? Why are we doing this?
You know what's sweet about us? We're having the exact opposite. I'm never listening and hearing you being mean. I always hear that, like, I was unreasonable.
That seems sweet, but it probably just means we're too self-obsessed.
No, that's not fair. If you were a dick, I'd be so pumped about it. I would come downstairs and tell you, you did the thing I thought you did. And usually I'm just like hiding and going, I hope he doesn't notice that it was my fault. Anyway, what I was going to say is they certainly set themselves up, Wild Wild West, for there to be a number 2. And was it already understood that Men in Black was going to have a second one by this time? Had it already done really well in the box office?
It had done really well. I'm sure they knew eventually they would make another one. I don't know. You think back to the 90s?
I do.
And it both seems like, well, not everything was always destined to be sequelized back then.
True.
But also, you think of the 90s, and it's like, well, everything back then also was based on a pre-existing... Like, think of how many TV shows were turned into movies, especially old TV shows, including Wild Wild West, which was based on the Wild Wild West.
Which also, the director said he was going for a James Bond set in the desert, or whatever, set in the West.
Yeah.
But I think what he ended up with is a Get Smart set in the... It wasn't as smooth as a Bond. It was more fumbly and funny. And contraptions.
No, right.
You got to get
Has
smart.
some of the trappings, but yeah, is ultimately kind of a...
I feel like he didn't get past the credits. The credits were like, oh, that's Bondish.
The credits are so James Bondy, and I thought...
over the top James Bond.
I loved it.
I liked
loved it a lot. And maybe it's because, this is, I think, the 4th 90s blockbuster in a row we've covered. Godzilla, Twister, Mortal Kombat, and this one.
They're so different from each other.
But
man, we had some fucking variety in the 90s. The 90s ruled.
Yeah, because none of those are great movies, but you compare it to just the sameness of every big studio release now, and it's like, even the bad ones just had such personality and charm.
Right.
And were allowed to be weird.
You could literally go into the theater, and with the lack of social media, too, to spoil things and just to not have as much buzz and all that stuff. I always went to theater and got surprised. I never get to do that anymore. I go there and I'm like, I know exactly what's about to happen. And if I didn't know in advance, the trailers are going to tell me exactly what the fuck I'm about to watch.
And it's like
the trailers are just the same formula. I'm just going to watch them later.
You're right. And the things that are supposed to make us be surprised now are surprise you recognize this. They're like,
yes.
I can't believe they said this thing that I know because everything is a pre-existing thing. And it's like,
and I'm wearing it on my t-shirt.
Yeah.
Right.
Great. They acknowledged another thing I know about this franchise. That's great.
I'm getting rewarded for having been a longtime subscriber.
Uh-huh. Whereas in the 90s, you're making an adaptation of the TV show, and they're not like, well, how are we're going to alienate the fan base of this old TV show if we don't include...
Right. No, it was just, that was a good premise. Mm-hmm. Let's see it modernized.
Yep. And I guess it name recognition has to be part of it, but
yeah,
they're not worried that fans of the Flintstones are gonna riot at the...
There's another movie I watched way too many times.
Oh, we could do that because I saw it in theaters and don't remember a thing about it.
I know a lot of the words, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah, that's annoying when you do that.
It is annoying and I can't stop. I every time I'm like, he'll like this one. Wait, this time he'll like it.
You think I'm gonna like that?
Yeah, or like you'll be really impressed or something.
Do you ever like when someone else does
Never.
it? So why?
And I'm never impressed.
Yeah, what?
I don't know.
I can't believe it.
Because when I know something in advance of them saying it on TV, I feel like I'm so in tune, and I'm special in some good way. And I'm thinking, Matt's gonna want to propose again when he hears that I know she's about to say Utah.
Propose divorce. Right. Call up Alana. What is our lawyer's name?
Anita.
Call up Anita Stewart, Esquire. Look her up on Twitter. She's doing some great promotions. Free notary if you like her on Facebook. Free. She'll notarize something for free if you like her on Facebook or Twitter. That's at Anita ESQ. Offices in Gretna, Metairie, Marrero, and Mandeville.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, shout out to...
I had a question.
Go ahead.
So we've covered that they pair Will Smith with a white straight man, and straight man meaning the in a comedy sense, in both. But I'm thinking what didn't work was that they did not pair him with a straight enough man. And this is going to sound like I'm making a homophobic comment. Again, I mean straight-faced person. But in Kevin Kline, nope.
Yeah, that's
his name. It sounds too much like the perfume, you know what I mean. Okay, with who's this one? Who's the first one? Who am I over here?
Tommy Lee Jones?
That's him.
Okay.
He's such a straight man, and he's such a masculine person, right? They're just two of the same people, but one's older in his career and less of a jokester, right? So you've got, but then you go over here and you're like, okay, well this one can be less masculine. Will Smith will be super masculine, and there'll be enough balance there because this one's going to be a sissy. And it's just like, it just does. I mean, sissy. I'm using their words, but it's just not enough contrast. I don't know which one's the funny one. They're both. I'm just trying to figure out why the pairing wasn't as successful. And maybe it wasn't the pairing. Maybe it was the story.
Well, I would say that the pairing is the thing that works best about the movie.
I
think they have
love
really
them
good
together.
chemistry.
I do too.
My problem is that it's not enough of the movie.
I was just wondering if not enough people would like Kevin Kline, where I love him. I love him in everything he's in.
I feel like based on I've watched some YouTube videos of people like, remember this movie?
Fish Called Wanda?
Pretty much do it. No, I mean, remember Wild Wild West doing pretty much exactly what we're doing right now.
Oh, good.
And most people seem to like Kevin Kline.
Oh.
I don't think they quite have the chemistry that he has with Tommy Lee Jones. I watched a lot of Men in Black today. And that one is a more straightforward contrast. He's cranky and gruff. And
I like when Will Smith gets to be kind of... He gets to show his swagger side, but and his physical comedy acting too, where he falls and where he does something wrong and he's kind of a bonehead. Like, I like when he can switch up that. I mean, my first note of this movie when we started watching it is this movie the most Will Smithiest of all the movies, Wild Wild West? Because I mean, the cocked hat, the swagger, I love his like way too cocky, way too cool, way too hot trope this thing that he does, but like this movie is non-stop that until he's a belly dancer for some fucking reason.
Yeah. Watching Men in Black, which I had not seen in 20 years, I was struck by how serious he is in that one too. He's not very goofy in that.
But he's physical.
I think he's physical, but not goofily physical.
I guess it has been
And
a long
I kind
time
of
since I've seen it.
missed goofy Will Smith. So
He's
I was
great when he's
kind of
goofy.
like, yeah, I liked seeing it again. I like him kissing the air, even though it's like so obvious.
We're kind of arguing the opposite side of this. I was saying I remembered him being more goofy in Men in Black,
Oh,
but I guess not.
and I only watched half of the movie, but I was thinking like he's not like, and the movie itself is silly, but it's not like, this is a whole different level of goofiness. This movie.
You find him goofy in this? I don't know.
Well, he belly dances.
Okay, but that part's brilliant. It's very goofy.
So you like this a lot, but can you tell us, because this is technically your pick, even though this is a movie
It's a
I
co.
did see a bunch of times when I was a kid.
It's a co-load bearing beam.
No, because I would never have said this is a load
Oh,
bearing beam.
wow, you're so fucking
I
scary.
am. This is probably my brother's load bearing beam. He bought the
Well,
VHS.
this is why I like him. Okay.
This is why. And
It's the only
yeah, I
reason.
certainly watched it a bunch of times, but I realized this could not have been a movie that I watched a bunch of times, because when we see Salma Hayek's butt,
Yeah.
her naked butt,
You really got upset.
I was like, oh, the impropriety.
There were several
No,
moments.
I would, like, if this were a movie I would have watched a lot, I would have remembered that, because I would have watched that part over and over again.
Oh,
Instead, I was
okay.
like, wait a minute, have I seen this movie?
Jesus Christ, you like the butt part a little too much. Well, fine, let's talk about Will Smith's abs for a minute. Just kidding, I don't care about abs.
You don't understand what I'm saying? That
As a boy, the top butt and the butt you see of Mindy East, which is a nice butt when she flicks up her skirt. And we suck at going through the movie, just so you know. We just like, bleh.
Okay, we'll do it then. The movie opens. A man
opens.
is running through a field. He has a weird collar on his neck.
That's
He's
where
being
collars
chased
go.
by Ted Levine, who has an air horn coming out of one place where his ear should be.
Upsetting.
The man gets beheaded. Then we cut to James Bond-esque credits that show scenes from the movie you're about to watch. It
Which
has
is
this
interesting.
really. I really did not like the
Spider webs all over the place.
No, I like the spider webs. The theme, the hero theme, the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
It's like this rip off Indiana Jones or
It really is.
Back to the
It's
Future.
like
It
Lone
sounds like you
Ranger
should like it.
slash. Yeah, I felt the
But I
same
don't.
way. It was like whenever you fall asleep to the menu screen of a DVD. How
Mm-hmm.
it just, it's the same tune, it's short, and it just keeps restarting, and it's like, oh, that crescendo happened already. Why is this? That song also just kept getting really like, dun, 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 like I was, dun, 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 like I was supposed to be really impressed with something, and the whole time I'm like, I am unmoved.
That's
It
why I
doesn't
said
feel like part of this.
it's Back to the Future theme has like movements in it. You have both like you have your triumphant and this Wild Wild West theme has like its ups and its downs, but it's contained within like 30 seconds. It's
Yeah,
very
it
annoying.
feels like a stock song.
And they hired this composer who I don't remember, but who did like a lot of classic westerns to try to
I bet it is hard
evoke that,
to
but
make a new
instead
one
it
of
just
those.
evokes like John Williams bullshit.
He wishes. John Williams can get it.
After the credits,
And
we're in a water tank.
There's
You know,
no food in this movie.
a tank
even
of water.
once.
Is there no food?
Not once does anyone
Let's
eat.
think about
They
it.
don't even drink. No one has a drink.
But you know what I think the biggest legacy of this movie is?
Not the eating and drinking.
The rodeo burger.
I'm sorry, what?
The rodeo burger at Burger King
Oh, jeez.
was part of a promotion from this movie,
Was it?
which I mean,
Why
I guess
isn't Will
rodeo's
Smith-
the West.
Yeah, right. You're right. It's not perfect, is it?
No, and I think it's just like it has onion rings and barbecue sauce on it,
It still does.
which those sound like Southern things, not Western things.
Why didn't Will Smith fit that into his rap? That would have really just brought it home. You know, the full package.
What, describing the burger?
No, just have said rodeo burger in his song.
He should have.
Bring it home, you know? Tell me where I need to eat.
Because the rodeo burger has come and gone. It's like a seasonal item for Burger
It
King.
is. It's like the McShamrock.
And I remember your cousin's husbands were discussing
that down.
how
Which one
they
of them?
love the rodeo burger, and it's not around anymore. But you can go to Burger King and ask them to make you a rodeo burger, and they'll do it.
Oh my God, do you have to skip ahead to track 99 to hear it?
Yeah, and you have
On
to
the
hold
menu.
rewind on track one.
And you have to go, I would like a burger. You know, a ha-ha burger. I'm winking
You
myself.
do, and they're going to act like they don't know. So, listener, go to Burger King.
I say, I'll take the Will Smith.
They're going to act like they
And I
don't know
don't
what
want nada.
you're talking about, but that's part of it.
Don't make me six gun
Gotta
in
keep
this.
going. They'll meet you out in the parking lot.
You'll swap spit. They'll give you the rodeo.
This movie was was one of the legendary Hollywood bombs. But the
Really?
rodeo burger
It's
and
delightful.
also the song. The song was a huge hit.
Can I just say
Uh-huh.
that for a racist, ableist, homophobic, misogynistic set of jokes, it was still very funny. I feel very guilty. I mean, clearly you could make that today, but
What couldn't you make? What
all of
stands
it.
out?
I mean, there's so much heteronormative shaming. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of cross-dressing.
It was the 90s.
It's like they lean into it, but they're also terrible about it, and they embrace it in kind of a nice way as well, in that they discuss what makes a good boobie. And I like that he says boobies the whole time. It makes me laugh. How's your mom and him? They were definitely giving a nod to some kind of back and forth humor where the bad guy is constantly making racial innuendo at Will Smith, and he is constantly making disabled person jokes at him. You cannot do that anymore.
You could not.
It's not okay. And
You get canceled.
as you should.
As Donald Glover says,
But-
nobody's making anything good anymore because everyone's worried about getting canceled.
God, Donald Glover, don't be lame. I like you. All right. But I've seen that done before. That's definitely a nod to some kind of fucking bit. They didn't invent that.
They didn't invent making fun of.
The only interaction those two have are when they're going to fit a pun in.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. I thought you would. You know
No,
what?
I think this is the origin.
You're not a comedy nerd. I always forget that. You're not going to be able to feed me back the information.
Because you're not the specific thing is a back and forth where they insult each other based on.
No, fucknut. It's where they only focus on one thing that's wrong with the other person, and they put a pun in every single sentence that they say to each other.
The
That is a
listener,
very
if you know what she's talking about,
Reach out.
reach out.
Touch me.
Hashtag I'm the comedy nerd.
Ooh. At me, y'all.
Watch the replies. Roll in.
Right.
After the credits, we see a water tank.
Anyway,
This water tank,
it's full of boobies.
I say this is the kind of water tank that you use to fill a steam train.
Oh, I always thought it was the town's water supply, in which I thought, oh, there's so much cum in there.
Yeah, that'd be
And
gross.
hair. Cum and hair.
It could be that though. But what the hell is the deal with there's like somebody's
bed?
living in there too because there's a bed mounted on the wall and like furniture and nice picture frames and
No,
stuff.
there's not.
Yeah, there is.
Picture frame.
Oh, there so is.
All right,
I'll pull up the movie right now to show you.
You're wrong about stuff a lot.
Not really.
Okay, pull it up.
Name one thing.
All the stuff that you fuck you. Anyway,
Can you vamp while I pull up this movie?
Yes, I can. Those titties, though, of the person that he is with
Making
in the
love to
water, he's not making love yet.
No, they're making love.
They were not making
They're
any.
penetrative love.
They had not penetrated yet. He did not stick
No,
his
you
personal
see it.
effects into a hole.
You see it.
Anyway, that happens. And it bothers me that he puts on pants when he's soaking wet. Ew. You know, that had to feel
A lot
uncomfortable.
of that in movies. We've been watching Lost,
It bothers
and they do that
me.
in Lost all the time.
God, do they? And it takes them no time to get those pants up. It would take me forever. You ever try to go pee when you've been in a pool and all you want to do is get your bathing suit back up? That's not happening. Suction cups. Suction cups to your legs is what it is. And it feels horrible. Just like it's gross whenever hair falls off you. The hair is beautiful while it's on your head. And then as soon as it's off you, it's the grossest thing that's ever lived. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Loose hair and nails, fingernails, toenails, same fucking thing. Glorious when they're attached. As soon as they come off, repulsive.
What else?
That's what it's like to put on a wet bathing suit. It's wrong. This has been used. It's like putting on a condom that has got semen in it. I'm going to say a lot of words for semen and cum today. Boy, howdy.
Don't listen to this, prospective employers.
I'm my own boss.
Come on, keep vamping.
Oh, shit. Well, you're making fun of my vamps. Is it that important to you to prove me wrong
Yes.
that you're so fucking annoying?
No,
and what
this
do
is
I get
good.
when I'm right? I want all kind. Oh God.
You get 15 wife points.
No, I need a leaderboard. I'm sick of you telling me what the points are. I
You're
want to
ahead.
see the point. All right, I'm ahead. That's fine. I'm trusting you. It's like when I'd give Macy big girl points, and she
All right,
trusted me
Will
so
Smith
hard.
is pretending to kiss his lover,
I know,
and
it's
she
your
is
favorite
not
part.
having it.
No, she wants real
But
kissing.
it's still funny. I mean, it's a little over the top, but here's why he
That's
saves
why
it.
it's funny.
Because then he snaps immediately out and says, like, I'm not
Right.
working.
It is. He
Very
saves
funny.
it.
And,
You know what? Get to the part where you're wrong, motherfucker. There's no picture frames in there.
wait,
This is
I would
clothes,
be wrong
it's a
if
bed,
we don't
it's a
see
candle.
picture frames?
Yes,
I was
that
just
is what
suggesting
I
that
was
there are
saying.
living.
Oh, you asshole. Of course there was. I was agreeing with you with that. When you said picture
There's
frame,
books.
mother of fucks. Do you hear me? I never disagreed to any of that. I said picture frame was not in there.
Oh, well, fuck. I
Oh,
was just
my-
using that as lorem ipsum for like
No.
things you'd find in one's living quarters.
People don't carry on their person a picture frame. Not usually. They do carry around a book. You want to know why? There weren't any fucking iPods or tablets
there were
back then.
stacks of books.
He's smart.
He lives here,
No, he travels with them.
and this is where he sets up his place that he's staying. Is it?
No, that's just where he was fucking. Where do you want him to put his shit?
I'm
Maybe he had
asking,
to wait for her for a while.
What
read
is the
some
deal
books.
with this?
It's cute. Otherwise, they're just in some dank freaking. They made it look like a place that they purposely were there to be in.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a tramp, you know. He travels. He goes from place to place. Wherever he lays his head is his home, is what I'm saying. And he looked like he wanted to be there. It was cozy. It was nice. It wasn't in some hotel. It needed to be in a place like that. It needed to be precarious and weird.
I know why they do it for the filmmaking reason. But let's take it very seriously and suppose that this thing really exists, that in a water tank above the water line, that presumably the water line's always going up and down
Right.
as the water gets emptied and refilled.
True.
There is to the wall mounted a bed, lots of shelves,
That's not fair.
a table.
That's not what it was.
Why is it all there?
It's a series of steps, and they happen to put a cushion on one of them.
No, it's a bed.
Again, if you're admitting that it's for the sake of the movie, I don't know why you're so upset by it.
I'm not. No one's upset by
You
it.
seem upset.
No.
It's just as fun as a treehouse.
No, but I want to know why.
It was a weird choice.
What is the kayfabe reason that this thing exists?
It must be a nod to some sort of Western thing that we don't know because we didn't watch Westerns as a kid.
You're way too forgiving of everything that looks shitty in this movie by saying this must just be a nod to something else.
I don't know a lot of phrases. I know for a fact the way that they were moseying and with the big old fucking screen behind them and they were right close to each other, that's a thing to a thing.
Because the movie,
I hate that you
for
don't
a
know
while,
stuff.
the movie looks pretty good. Then there's a part where they get to the desert and suddenly everything is green screen and like obviously so. Like there is footage of like people just milling about in the background with the actors in the foreground, and it looks ridiculous. And Lacey said, "Oh, this is a choice. This is an homage to something."
You know what? Whenever you get to say that things are a choice, like the entirety of fucking Mortal Kombat, I believe you.
Uh huh.
And I'm saying you're coming at this with no fucking knowledge. Did you research it at all? Did you
I tried
read the
to find the
Wikipedia?
answers to this. Yes, I did read the Wikipedia. I tried
Did you
to find.
talk to Rosen
I see.
Schneiden?
Yes, I talked to Rosen Schneiden.
What's his name?
He didn't direct this movie.
Blumenfelden?
I talked to Blumenfelden as
Fucking
well.
Schnucken?
He also was
Lippenreader?
perplexed at the amount of weird green screen at the end of this movie.
Well, maybe they ran out of money.
This was the most expensive movie ever made at this point,
Just not on the screen.
and
or
it was
the green.
not well spent.
They didn't
spent it
spin
on
the
a really
green on the
shitty
screen.
CGI giant spider.
What? The spider looked good.
The spider is well designed, but
Because it has those
seeing
shiny
it move and
surfaces.
stuff, it's poorly composited in.
Right. It wouldn't make
It
sense
doesn't
the
look
way
like a
it
real
moves.
thing. Imagine a practical effect. Imagine some stop motion. Have you seen RoboCop?
Oh, yeah, I've seen RoboCop. You made me watch RoboCop.
No, I haven't.
Okay, then I haven't seen.
Oh, well,
Can you
there's
give me a beer? I'll vamp.
What?
You're closest to the beer hole.
Hey, vamp, it better be good.
Okay, so here are the things Miss Lippen Reader says while she's Lippen reading. U.S. Marshal, U.S. Navy. Scream, scream.
Army.
Huh?
Army.
That's what I said.
You said Navy.
Well, clearly I'm at the Army. He's not in water, is he? Except for in the fucking water tower. We know how much that upset you.
He is a Navy.
Can you just give me the fucking beer? Now you're just taking your goddamn time. You needed to throw away the cap and everything. Why don't you get back to the podcast? How about that? Maybe show some respect. Well, what is this Utah anyway? Something on purpose? Okay, I mixed those two. It's not. Doesn't matter.
This is Kenneth Branagh's lip-reading woman. Kenneth Branagh plays
he's lip-and
Dr.
reader.
Lovelace, the
Is he
villain.
in other things? Every time I
Is
see
Kenneth
him,
Branagh in other things?
every time I see him, I'm like, I should know who that is. That guy's way too good. He's flamboyant and amazing.
Excuse me, he plays Hercule Poirot in Murder on the Orient Express, a movie he also directed.
Did you have me watch that?
No.
Then I blame you.
Definitely, he's Professor Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Did you have me watch that?
He is, we just watched Tenet, he's the Russian bad guy in that.
Stop it.
He's
Did he
like,
have shaved?
I will cut out your balls and put them in your throat.
That's not where they go.
He's in a billion things.
I need more. Wait, what professor in Harry Potter now?
Professor Gilderoy Lockhart, the famous author who turns out to be a scam, a fraud.
In the movie? He's a fraud in the movie?
Yeah.
What did he write that was a fraud?
He wrote books about all his great adventures and all his great claims to fame, but it turns out he just took credit for other people's stuff.
Yes, he is Brian. I almost got it, didn't I?
I don't know what you're going
The one who pretended he was attacked in he's a news guy, and Brian Williams. Did I just get it?
Yes, he's like Brian Williams.
I got it. Did I get the name? That's a dyslexia triumph.
Dyslexia triumph, you got.
And how am I on that leaderboard? Leading.
You're up.
Yes, I am.
All right, we're gonna find the thing that you know this guy from.
Why do you think this is interesting? If I have to vamp one more time, I'm going to start being allergic to garlic.
So listen, he was in.
Why is it called vamping?
Because
I need to suck the life out of the room.
You kind of go into a weird fugue state like a vampire. Lots of Shakespeare adaptations. You haven't seen any of those though, because you're dumb and you're not learned like me.
It is the reason I left drama classes in UNO.
Because
University of New Orleans. Because it was all fucking Shakespeare. They make you start at Shakespeare. That's how they weed out the people who aren't serious. Okay, everyone who thinks they're going to be an actor, yeah. Sit down, we're going to start doing some acting, but first we'll read all of this. And I left. I left after 6 weeks.
Can I say something annoying?
Yes.
Shakespeare's good.
Okay. For a person with dyslexia, where regular reading is already hard, it is a fact that it's much harder for us to learn a second language because of it doesn't matter. So with Shakespeare, I like to listen to it. It was impossible to read for me. Mm-hmm. To comprehend, it took me far too long. But I like the plots of Shakespeare, and so that's why I appreciate it when they remake them with hip hop. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like Othello.
What else?
Save the Last Dance.
Yeah. Is that a Shakespeare adaptation?
No.
It
really might be, actually. I mean, sure. Isn't everything? Everything is. West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
McEdna. That's my mom's name. Her name's Beth and Edna. That's why I made the joke.
In the Wild Wild West TV show?
Has anyone ever even seen that? Here's this. What are the odds that they actually cared to be anything true to the Wild West TV show? Did they have contraptions? And a guy with a thing?
Yeah, it seems like the TV show...
It was actually about that.
I also had steampunk, sci-fi weird stuff going on in it.
I do like that.
I meant to watch an episode of the show just to get an idea.
I always assumed it was just a complete disconnect. They just needed the
title.
Yeah.
No, but the setup is exactly the same. The
there
characters
was an
are the
African
same.
American?
No.
Of course not.
No, James West, played by Robert Conrad, and Artemis Gordon, who is a master of disguise and stuff, and they had a fun back and forth. And the villain was Dr. Miguelito Quixote Lovelace. He was played by actor Michael Dunn, a dwarf. The villain, Dr. Lovelace, is a dwarf in the TV show.
Does he also have no legs?
No, he has legs. And he is not a former Confederate general. He is a Spanish aristocrat.
Oh, this makes sense then. I mean, they had to adapt it for it to have all that tension for Will Smith's character. Right? Is that why they made it so about the Confederacy?
I don't know about that. But they didn't...
To give it some spice.
Didn't want to make the villain a dwarf.
Well, of course. Oh, because in the 90s, we weren't doing that.
Well, but that is one of those things where it's
That came about way before all the other wokeness. That's true.
What are you saying?
Just I feel like in terms of groups of unrepresented and made fun of people, I feel like knowing not to make fun of little people was something that was understood faster than other categories.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't speak for little people,
Who can?
but
Only
little people.
Well, yeah.
But I think there is an unfortunate thing that happens where you're like, well, we can't have the villain be a little person.
Let's offend something else. Yeah.
Yes, but okay, we'll take an acting job away from a little person. We won't have a little person represented. And it's like, I mean, at least we had this cool character. At least we were on TV in this big important role.
For sure.
This was Native American, the few people who were in favor of not changing the Washington football team's name.
So said like
at least we're in the public consciousness, even if it's in this racial slur way.
Right.
But
did they appreciate all the appropriation and the chanting and the headdresses? And it just seems they couldn't have been. That seems
all I'm talking about is that one
part of it,
narrow part of it.
Mm. It just seems like it's a package.
So, but I was surprised. Like, okay, so Dr. Loveless also in the TV show. He's the big bad of the TV show.
Or wouldn't he be? His last name's Loveless. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And people's last name sometimes is Loveless. That's real.
Yeah. And what could be more evil than being loveless? And what could be more tragic?
He really did have an axe to grind. And 36 feet of lower intestine.
I like
every
Kenneth
flamboyant person is always from Louisiana. And I'm never sure where that part of Louisiana is.
It's always in a part where you can get on like a big paddle wheel boat and get to New Orleans
and collect moss
from like Cajun country in 2 minutes.
And there's goats for some reason. Grazing.
Do you like Kenneth Branagh in this film?
I don't know what that is.
The fucking villain. He's loveless.
I love him. I have no loss of love for him.
Yeah, he's good.
I also like McGrath.
Ted Levine. Yeah, he's very
what
funny.
else is Ted Who's Ted Levine?
He's Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
And what is he in this movie?
He's Bloodbath McGrath.
How? In what way was he funny? He's tragic the whole time. He makes me sad.
But he's also funny. When he talks, he's funny.
No, he's injured.
When he dumps his horn and the wax comes out, that's funny.
It's not supposed to be funny.
Mr. Gordon dressed as a woman, he's funny.
He is PTSD. He is injured. He talks that way because he was horribly disfigured.
No one has ever taken something so seriously as you have taken this.
That character has always served as the anchor in what's serious about this movie. What?
Go on.
In Liberty Point or whatever, wherever there was a massacre. Well, he is sad. That character is always a bummer. He grounds the movie in something real, something to really make you hate Loveless. Jim West, Desperado. Stop it!
You're being very...
I don't know. He just reminds me of my dad. It's like any grizzled man with like a fucking story. He just wanted love.
At least don't have a story.
And he loved the lady because her name was Dora, and that's his mother's name. He just wanted love. And he loved his men, and he did not like that all those people died, even though they were on the other side of the racial line and the other side of the war. He was upset that the women and children died. He had love. He was not loveless.
I was thinking...
He loved his men.
Is this movie actually doing something like cool and subversive with...
Yes.
Okay, so Will Smith is the hero. He's a black man.
With race? Yeah, I think this movie did.
He is fighting former Confederates who are trying to like start a neo-Confederate revolution.
He did. Not Al Pacino. Who's my favorite? Tarantino. He did Tarantino before Tarantino did it. He did Django Unchained funny.
This is ridiculous. Django was intended. The role was envisioned with Will Smith playing it.
Oh shit.
And
he can't do it twice. Jamie Foxx.
He couldn't do Django because he had done Wild Wild West. He's like, too bad, I've already done this character.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is this slapstick, silly,
angel
funny,
killing, just mercilessly murdering white people everywhere. There's a reason Will Smith didn't take the role because he's very safe.
I know you say that. Okay, and also Jamie Foxx. was
it's
amazing.
good. Yeah, very good. But it would have been way more interesting if Will
No,
Smith
it will
had done
not have.
Yes, it would
No.
have. Imagine Will Smith.
He would have made a
doing that.
rap.
Will Smith doesn't. Will Smith doesn't take chances. He doesn't work with directors who can boss him around, who can like push him in uncomfortable ways.
Good.
He hires the directors himself.
Self-possessed.
He's very self-possessed. He's very,
and he's got a brand, and I love his brand. And Jamie Foxx is amazing. And Jamie Foxx was having a moment.
What was that moment? What else
Ray.
was in that moment? What Ray was 8 years earlier.
There's a long moment. We had to pause.
It was a moment. He paused, and then the moment resumed.
He's good every time he comes in there, though. He's like Tool, waits 4 years. Boom, another record.
Yeah. We love Tool on this
don't.
podcast.
No, we don't.
We don't?
I mean, we don't hate him. We don't kick him out of bed. Eating crackers, farting up the sheets.
I guess.
Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being there. If you wanted a Linda Belcher soundboard, all you had to do was ask.
So we're now at the third scene of the movie.
Oh, good. The third scene, not even the third act. Oh,
no, third scene of the movie. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to go through this
you guys
movie
have seen
scene
it
by scene. We've largely talked about it. What do you think of Salma Hayek?
Love.
Fourth build. She's
gorgeous.
On the poster. She's in between Will Smith and Kline.
As she should be. It's the only thing that divides them, and it's a good thing she was married.
You're like very.
I'm too into it.
This is such a thematically rich text. You see, the thing that comes between these two men is this woman.
She needed to be out of the picture. They both thought that she liked him equally, and I like that she was playing him the whole time because she's this little damsel. She's in distress, and that's aggravating. But this movie was more forward thinking than that. She was actually in control the entire time. Controlled that narrative, lied to them to get what she actually needed, and said bye.
Yep. She's fun. She's funny.
Have you not seen?
What are you doing?
Fools Rush In. She's amazing.
No, I haven't. I'm saying in this role, she's funny. She's good.
I know.
She doesn't have that much to do.
But she gets.
She
her
makes
man.
the most of it. She's liked
gorgeous.
The aesthetics. I liked all the steampunk. I liked the people like hiding in paintings and then coming out of the paintings.
Yes.
That's great fun. We had a lot of fun with all of this. There's like a.
You laughed several times.
I did laugh several times.
Timing is everything. Their timing is amazing.
I thought you were saying in response to I laughed a few times. You're like, yeah, timing is everything.
Oh,
if
no,
you laugh a few times, that's great.
I meant that there could have been some jokes that were very stale and just they would have landed flat. But the delivery is good. You can't fault the timing that both of those men have.
I don't fault it.
I'd never ask you to. I'm just saying that material with different actors wouldn't have worked in watching it now. Because it is all so... There's just... I don't know how many jokes were not either misogynistic, homophobic, racist, or ableist. There were very few. But
it seemed totally like this. It's a lot hornier than Men in Black.
Very horny.
A lot more. Like just
Thirsty.
sex. Yeah, there's a real thirst.
You know
trap.
how you want to stick a peen in a vag? Yeah, a lot of that.
Which, compared to Men in Black, there's very little of that
It's
in Men in
men
Black.
about their business.
And it's not, like, funny or sexy in any way.
Well, because Will Smith is trying to prove his abilities and achieve his career goals there. In this movie, he's already done that. So now he just needs to fuck and save the president.
That's your explanation?
Yeah, he was thirsty for something else in Men in Black. He achieved it, and then he probably wanted to fuck. Is Men in Black about fucking? Probably. Is it the woman from The Matrix in the Men in Black too?
No.
She looks like her.
No.
Katie Lang.
You thinking of Carrie Ann Moss?
Just someone with short hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's not her.
There's only a few of us.
It's a different woman.
Okay.
I knew this movie's reputation as like this disaster. Everybody hates it. It's got really bad reputation. I'd say about halfway through this movie, I was like, people are wrong. This is good. This is not great. This is pretty good. This is working for me. Mm-hmm. I like how weird this is. I like how subversive it is with the things with the villains are these people trying to start basically rebuild the Confederacy and standing against them as a black man. That's all kind of cool and like, wow, 1999 they're doing this.
Yeah, good for you.
But then they abandon that because
They
actually
really
he's
do.
not trying to make the South rise again. He's just trying to like build his own country, loveless land, and where I'll be the rich person.
Does it matter that he changes that? I mean,
If he were ideologically committed to the Confederacy, he would be a much better villain.
I feel like they were trying to make him even worse, and that's when McGrath turns into a. Don't say the word before I do. God damn it, man! I'm smart, but I don't know anything. He turns from someone who seems bad into someone who you have empathy for. What am I trying to say here? A blank character. A redeemable? Empathetic? Fuck me. Whatever's. I'm just saying. When he betrays McGrath, that's when his level of horribleness humanizes McGrath.
Yeah, I feel bad for him then.
I feel bad for the whole time. He's got terrible taste in horse. That Salma Hayek was right there. And he was like, no, I want the one that looks like Mama. That man needs a hug. I've upset you.
No, I'm fine.
You don't see...
I'm doing great.
Every time I bring up Mom, you get upset.
No.
You want to talk about something?
Definitely not.
Full disclosure, we just had a whole conversation. Matt cried, but now we're back. Go, Matt.
You said you weren't going to bring that up.
No.
Then...
I mean, just... Right.
Then, the movie keeps going.
It does.
And things aren't as good anymore.
You always have that problem.
I always have that problem.
You need series to be a movie. You need movies to be a one-episode show. You need a movie to go into a series, but only
the shitty things in Wild Wild West are all in the second half. And largely, so everybody complains about, like, that fucking movie, big mechanical spider, it's supposed to be the Wild West.
That's what's
No,
cool.
That's a dumb, yes, that's like, yeah, that's great.
They use
the
Steam.
Problem is
Steam existed.
Terrible. It looks terrible, and then just everything grinds to a halt. How many times did they go back to their train to like reload and redress,
True.
and then go back to the spider, and then go back to the train? Ooh, now it's gotten serious.
Also, since when did Loveless surround himself with crazy-looking men that just so happen to be in the bowels of the
And
Avante?
It is sort of cringingly bad. I can't totally, like, I'd say this is like a 2.5 stars. No, it's on the cusp. It is definitely not the disaster people remember it as.
True.
I say give it a chance. There's
It's fun until it's not.
I'd like to hear a black person talk about this movie.
Yeah.
To hear what they think is exactly going on. With the racial politics and what would have been allowed to be in a Hollywood movie.
How does it feel now to watch it? And how do you feel about yourself in whatever way that you felt about it then? There were so few offerings to feel empowered and like, yeah, that portrayed what, okay. I can only imagine. Curious as well, Matt.
We're curious people.
Like a cat. Curious like a cat. It's a Saturday Night Live reference.
What have we missed? Well, I'm not a comedy nerd like you, so I wouldn't know.
Thank you. What did you make me watch? I Am Legend. You didn't make me. There's a Will Smith that needs a hug.
That's my favorite Will Smith movie, and
it's his best performance. It's not my favorite movie.
It is his best performance. I just, I love my
it was good.
apocalyptic movies,
and I love the world building. I like the way the dudes looked. The vampires, the ill.
Yeah.
I like the book ending better when you told me about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why are we getting into I Am Legend? Who's got the time? Some of us need to watch Lost for the second time. You know what I'm saying? Which is what we're doing right now.
We're going through Lost.
Man, is it good.
It's pretty good.
Until it's bad. Just like Wild Wild West.
Maybe it won't be bad, though.
You think it was us?
I don't remember you not liking it.
As soon as they get to off the island, I'm fucking done. I don't need all the flash forwards, backwards, and sideways.
That stuff's great.
It is now. But then they try to do it 3 different ways. And that's when I don't like it. Like when someone's like, hey, I've made you steak 3 ways. Like, I don't want it like that. I want the steak the one way.
It can't always
eggs
just
3
be
ways.
the one way.
I don't need boiled eggs and fried and scrambled.
There's something exhilarating about the early episodes of Lost, which is where we are.
Yes.
Where it's like, the show is only one thing right now.
Which I love.
Yeah. And
I'm going to keep holding on until I hate it.
And then the show keeps reinventing itself, always exciting, but you do eventually start to miss the way things were.
And there's a formula. I thought you did great. And then I'd sound right. But as soon as I said it, I was like, maybe there's not a
Fucked
formula.
up, Lacey.
Maybe there's not a
That was a big mistake.
Let's hear that. Instant replay.
You're right. I don't need a soundboard. And the soundboard sounded like shit. I'm bummed. I thought it was going
That
to sound
was
so much
horse
better.
shit. I can't believe how little you prepare. You know what?
How little I prepared.
You're not great with tech preparing, and you're in charge of lots of tech for like our business.
Why are you saying this on record?
I think you're flippant about things working. Like, it'll work out. Everyone expects things to break. It's fine.
For the podcast, yes.
You put a lot of work into gathering those sounds and then didn't even give it one fucking listen, even though you bought these awesome ass headphones, these mics, that crazy thing with all the knobs, all these switches, and then
just
you were
didn't
super
listen
pumped
to
about
how it would sound hooked up into this system.
that is the way we would use it. Who the fuck cares how it sounds when you're not doing that?
You're
I'm just
you're
saying,
being very cruel right now.
Really unprepared for someone who likes his gadgets.
Well,
This is
I'm
like
no
when-
Artemis Gordon. Things don't work for me.
No,
But
actually, you are Miss Gordon, where sometimes things work.
I'm storming out of the podcast right now. Goodbye. You can take us home.
Hey, are you that mad? Okay, I love you. Bye.